Welcome back, everybody. We are looking at comfy loading in the background. Don't be worried about that. Hello, Apolloniart. Hello, Cernicar. Welcome, everybody. It's 8 o'clock on the 10th of July. Now would be a Thursday. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Drift Johnson. This is Scuff Depot. We're doing Latent Space Live for the next few hours. I said in the title today, we're going to look at Polaris. It's in a llama, so we'll take a look at that. And obviously BeltOut, which we were looking at last time, but ran out of time because it takes a while to do stuff. Oh wow, we finally got a workflow. Anyway, I put a new Laura out called George, which is actually just an excuse to train the canny set. So my plan is to put the canny set into the sci-fi empire. So I've been retraining that lately. And the sci-fi empire is coming out in 3.5. I'm doing some experiments training 3.5 large, not for photorealism, because Flux is really good with photorealism. Hello, Full Dive. How you doing? But I think that actually sometimes we can go back to the old stable for this one. It's a little bit, it's kind of messy in how I like it. These heads are fun. But yeah, I made like a smaller set of the Empire and just trained it with a single caption. That's it, nothing else. And I'm in the middle of building like a bulk trader so I can do a bunch of testing. Hey Till Bill, welcome to the show. Haven't seen you in a while. If you're the same Till Bill, that is. I think your icon changed, I don't know. But welcome. So yeah, like I said, BeltOut. So we've done the intro, we've said hello. Don't forget, there's a link in the description for the Discord. If you haven't already joined, join. If you subscribe, like the video and all that good stuff. Right, let's get on. So I have here in my hand two pieces of paper. One of them on the right is our Polaris. One on the left is our back end for BeltOut. So we don't really need to see this. We've already done all of the setup. We did it yesterday. And what I did was I turned my voice into a vector with this system. And then I managed to make it say my voice, you know, use my voice. So we're going to see if we can find some other things and then, you know, do that on the side. Meanwhile, I want to have a look at this bad boy over here because what can Polaris do? Now, obviously, I've got it here, so I could say, demonstrate your ability. Look at him go. There's a straight evaluation, that's pretty good. Think, so it's got thinking. Subtract, what's this? 3 times plus 5, $20. What? Something multiplied by 3 plus 5? Yeah, so yeah, okay, so he can do step by step. Okay, cool. Alright, I get it. That's cool, but we're not actually going to use this. We're going to take it to the next level. And I'm going to say, go into climb. I'm going to go in here. We're going to change it to Olana. And we'll pick Polaris. I should have it now. Oh wait, I have it twice. So nice, I have it twice. So let's use the 4 billion because it's easier to run. I think it's very small. Like a couple of gigabytes. Let's have a look. I think I downloaded it here, so 4.3 gigabytes. It's fast. I mean, I'm using a 4090 here, but I bet it still runs on the laptop. Alright. So what's the model context window for Polaris? I wonder. We'll find out. Model context window. 4 billion is newer and better than the 7. Okay, didn't know that. Thank you for that, Dragon. I think it was something multiplied by 3 plus 5 equals 20, so that would be 5. You need to lift it up to 128. Yeah, that's what I was just looking up. Cheers, mate. You saved me a bit of reading there. So yeah, 128,000 is what I need. I wonder if it's got a bit at the end. We'll find out, won't we? Okay. Just make sure we have it on both sides. Let's see. It's not on the planning side. There we go. Now it's on the quote. Oh my god. Now it's swapped over. Oi! I gotta get it to change. There we go. It's done. Alright, so let's give him some like base task, right? Alright. We can write a document named pizza toppings.md, which will list pizza toppings. We can write a document named pizzabases.md, which will list pizza bases. Okay. Let's see if you can do those two things at once. Well, that wouldn't be the right answer though, because the 3x is algebra. So it's 3x plus 5 equals 20. X is 5 because it's 15. 15 is 3x. 15 plus 5 is 20. So I don't know why it would make. But I think I think it's because it looks like a different math. It doesn't look like algebra. It looks like 3 times plus 5. And then I think you're right. So I understand what you're saying. I think it's just the way it's written isn't very obvious. Yeah. We can document this. I don't think he can. Oh. He might not be able to plan, see? He might have to just act. Because this is Klein, remember? So don't judge him because he doesn't know how to use Claude stuff. But like I said, I like to just take it through and see what it does. I think this isn't computing. Nope. No. I don't think we can do that actually. It's having a real hard time with this. You can't even stop. Alright. How about we just go to act? Act. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it looked fast before we tried to use it in here. This is why sometimes these are like not actually made for that kind of model. Look, oh, there we go. Act, right. Can I type? Look, I've typed already. I've finished typing. We just finished. Extreme timeouts. I don't think he likes it, guys. I don't think he likes it at all. Once warm, it's fast. Ah, right, okay, so maybe it's warm-up time then? Whatever the case, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like this way of being used, I mean. It's totally crashed out. Damn. We'll come back to this. Because I can just use it in the command line if need be. But this is like... no, I haven't killed them off in the command line. That was a direct connection to Olama. This is a connection through Klein, which is two different things. Well, you say that, but it's not running. So I'll come back to it. There's no sense in trying to bash your head against the wall. I can come back to it in 10 minutes when it's not broken. Alright. Yeah, because like I say, the command line, I was in there, but it's not. It was two different things. I downloaded it and it automatically boots it, doesn't it? Yeah, well, no, because I said bye. If you remember, I said bye, so it shuts down. But whatever, man, it's cool. Probably my VRAM is fill up with all kinds of stuff. I've got SD35 loaded. There's probably bits of WAN still loaded. Sometimes I think you need like a tool on your desktop which just has a little button that says unload VRAM. You know, like the one in Comfy, but it's just like for Windows. That's all it does. Just purges the VRAM for you. Right. Because like when we're developing all this weird stuff, I bet there's like bits and pieces still hanging around. Anyway, should we find ourselves something to mess with this? Over here. So the interesting thing about... Wait, am I still lagging? I am still lagging. I gotta check for ghosts. Look at that response time. Probably about 1,000 agents running in the background, like didn't put them to sleep or something. I asked for the task manager. I think it's going to come eventually. Man, look at it go. It's like it's rendering or something, but I'm not. I have the task manager though. Totally locked up. 12 minutes in. See, the trouble is, when you're on a live stream, you're not allowed to be patient. You're not allowed to be patient. Come on, look at it. Windows, man. If one day you log into my live stream and Windows is gone, you'll know why. Look at this. Trash. It can't even list processes right now. Task manager's crashing. This is why I have a separate machine to record the first, because this is amazing. Task manager's crashed. Yeah, excluding Sunday chill. Yeah. This is like Thursday chill now, because there's not really much to do. Right, well I guess we're going to start talking about Writer's Room early, because the computer's locked up. So we'll give it time and talk about that. Oh, now you spring into action. Isn't that? I've got to cheat him into it. Okay. So anyway, Empire Book 4. Space France. Because there's a big problem with the Empire series. They don't have anything, there's nothing to fight against. They don't have anyone to fight against, you know. Well, not anyone on their level anyway. And I thought what could be funny is that they're a fork of the original civilization. So it is just more of the same. And then you get a red versus blue type thing going on, which could be interesting. I don't know. It's just an idea at the moment I'm sort of thinking about. It's kind of on point with the whole Napoleonic theme. You know, because then you could actually have a space Napoleon, which is pretty cool. Because there's no space. That's the gimmick. Space Napoleon, but there isn't space, actually. They're interdimensional. They just conquer the same Earth over and over and over again. I'm not seeing any crazy things here. just Careless Whisper, which is tiny. And Google Chrome. Shiny and Chrome. So whatever it is seems to have sorted itself out. So if you're rooting my computer right now, thank you for disconnecting while I do my show. I appreciate that. Okay. So what else have I got here? Yeah, we looked at Audio. We know all about it. Yes. SD35. So I've been doing a couple of recipe experiments with SD35 large. And it's not bad, to be honest. But I still think that I've got some ways to go with perfecting the formula. So that's where that project is at. But like I said, I've been having good... Like, this is very close to the original. I said I want watercolor with line art detail, you know, so it's like it's supposed to be an illustration, not a photo, okay, like an old oil painting or something. And I think it got pretty close to that, so I'm actually really happy with this. And the weird thing is I just trained the caption, so it's all about the samples, as in the caption was just the trigger. I mean, normally I spend a lot of time crafting out captions for models, but it seems like with a model like this, when you want to get that tight style, maybe less caption actually is nice. Because I remember we used to train single word captions for a lot of checkpoints a long time ago. But yeah, so anyway, I've been working on a bit of Thoda stuff, which is nice. Like, it's all driven by the new nodes, so control prompt, things like that. But in this case, I'm testing Empire VOB. It's funny, Replicate went down today, so I can't do any more. Yeah, so I was testing with small data sets, just to test the formula. Let's see if we can try it now, because it doesn't even take long. I'll just grab a data set real quick. Because the joke is, I'm not even training the... We'll just train these outputs here. I'm not even training the, what's it called? You know, the captions. It's just images with a trigger. That's the research I'm doing. I'm taking it back to basics. Because I think that sometimes it gets overcomplicated, and maybe a fresh look is always a good idea. So I don't see it there. Oh! It's just in the base. It's just in the base. The base. I need to put it on date. Oh, it is on date. What on earth? Yeah, that wasn't there. That was a while ago. Okay, so here we go. We made a few images. Let's get a slideshow open. So let's see. The new Empire stuff starts around. It's around there-ish. Oh. Set as desktop background. You know when you can't find... Okay, now it's gonna give me a thing. Right, there we go. Let's talk about Empire. So yeah, I put this together like last night. I think this one was trained on, I don't know, 100 images. And I literally just used the word Empire, you know, the trigger for Empire. They're all Midjourney V7 with style training and stuff. But we went through a lot of iterations and sample decisions to get to this point. So it's kind of like Napoleonic era style, but with a bit of robot sci-fi tech going on. There isn't really a canon established style, but it's like this is what it is, you know. It always picks out a really good sort of impression, but it's sort of like, this is kind of like concept, I'd say concept art, you know what I mean? It is, but it isn't. Like, I see this as being like a starting point, and I curate out the ones that I like the most to sort of hone that down. But as it stands, I was really quite surprised with what it did with just training on one word. You see what I mean? And those initial images were just interesting looking concept images themselves. So it's kind of like a breeding or an evolution that goes on, where you keep the features that you want and you remove the features that you don't, and you eliminate all that captioning stuff and train only on the trigger. And then you know that the trigger is learning at least what it's learning, right? And then by then adding a bit more description, now you can start making that more elastic. But you know, as is, we don't really have much control over it. You see what I mean? And also, the longer the prompt that we add, the more the trigger gets diluted by what we're typing in. And we can put the tension back on the trigger to compensate, but I'm just trying to show you, like, this is what it actually learned, you know. And it's a little bit different from Flux, because Flux has got a sort of tendency to go towards photorealism, which I haven't seen with this. This doesn't try to make photos. It tries to make, well, because I said illustration in the caption, it listened to me. I said watercolor, line art, you know, that kind of thing. And that's what I got. Is it completely crazy and whacked out in a few? Yes. But like I said, it's doing its job. It's giving me variations on my work. Yo, Zeus, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. We're just taking a look at probably about, I don't know, I did 100 images out of a new LoRa, trained in SD 3.5 large. Like I say, we didn't really develop the Thoda pack because Flux suddenly came out. And I feel like I'm missing out, because I don't know about you, but sometimes these compositions and backgrounds are quite interesting. Like this stuff, it's clearly a painting. You know, it's clearly a painting. I think with a little bit of work and some curation, it's going to be quite an interesting sort of alt, because it is, like I say, a Flux project, but it's interesting to take the same data set and retrain it. Look at that, that was cool. I like that scene with the ships. The weapons training is stubborn, yeah. Well, the beauty about this world is there's no established right or wrong, is there? Because, you know, when you're creating a world from scratch, you know, like, oh, maybe the guns do look like that. I don't know. You know, it's up to you, isn't it? Like, we haven't actually tried to make the guns. There is no real gun design. So when you get a gun, it's just random. But I bet that if you were to reinforce a particular gun design, it would be the one that spawns more often. We've seen that stuff when we've trained like bolt guns for 40k and things like this. Specific rifle types. So it's, you know, when you get a variance like that, it's because it just hasn't been trained properly, you know. This is literally just the tag. The original artwork came from like just a vibe jam in Midjourney V7 with style. So I used enhanced prompts for Napoleonic scenes with red coats, you know, but framed with, they've all got robot heads, you know, and the idea was that the head meant their rank or whatever, and then I just let it go nuts, right? And that was the Flux model. The Flux model is really tight. You should check that one out. But this is an experiment to retrain a subset of those images. So not even the full data set, just like 80 of them. Maybe, yeah, no, this one was 80 images from the main data set that I like the look of. And then we've just trained it with simple trigger only, right? So, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the captions from the original model with this one and see if it's able to get anywhere close. Okay. Are we even anywhere? What are we on right now? I feel like there's just infinite. Oh no, yeah. I think it's looping. Yeah, we've seen it. Okay, so, well, maybe not, but point is done. So yeah, like I say, what I want to do is I just want to plug in my Zenkai before, and then it's gonna be 3M Empire style, right? Plug that in there. So my idea here is that it doesn't really know, like, this model hasn't been trained with anything, so it's a little bit different, okay? The original Flux model was trained on very complex captioning, right? But, well, maybe. I say that, maybe. Should we find out what I actually did say? Because it might be a V0 in itself. I think it is. Show any. Maybe we'll just do, I don't know, like 1. So what do we got? Ignore the canny, that's Sharona. Don't worry about that. Okay, so yeah, it's a reasonably complex prompt. So this is Empire style, which should work nice. Illustration of rifleman airdrop scene. Oh, this is quite an interesting one. Futuristic scene with 2 characters on a snowy landscape. Character is large and imposing. Blue visor. Helmet with a blue visor. Ooh. Yeah, we'll see what that does, won't we? Ah, do you know what? It's a bit too science fiction, but that's okay. The background's awesome. You know what? Let's just put that one on in. No, yeah, just put it on instant. Let it rip while we're talking. Yeah. Yeah, the problem I had with the reason I had a Stormtrooper problem, a Halo problem with this model, is actually that's down to curation. And I think it might be time that we just get comfortable. Get comfy. It's not actually comfy though. I've got a tool called Captioneer. We might go over one of these models because I'm sure that there are obvious mistakes in those captions. Like what we're doing here is a little bit strange, okay? I have a caption set for a model that is what this is. Same images, you know what I mean? So I captioned a set of images and I have a long caption set. And then using the same trigger but just the trigger on its own, I took like half the images and trained them as a LoRa with just the trigger, none of the words. And now what we're doing is we're generating images with the words for the full captions, but we're actually loading the LoRa that was only trained on the trigger. I know it's annoying to explain because it's kind of like, what? But if you just imagine that you trained a LoRa on something and you took a few of those images and you just took the best examples out, the ones that are most impressive to you, the least amount, right? Trained them with just the trigger, no other words. And then we're taking the prompts from the full model and then, you know, loading up the actual style models now, because that's what it is. We've created a style model, right? And in fact, these outputs are crazy compared to, look at the, because the thing is, it actually does look like what it's supposed to be. Let me have a look and see if it's in the prompt. We can read it, because it's not been tagged on the, wait, that's weird. Oh, okay, fair enough. I need to shut up. So actually, it's figured that out on its own. So illustration, I know it's keyed into that. It must have been a different model I was thinking of. It's Sharona that has the line art. Yeah, it's Sharona that has the line art. So I get confused. All these models, man. Even the trash looks better like this. We've still got the giant, like the massive in the distance, you know, like the massive sci-fi architecture. The backpack's a bit crazy. I don't mind, but you know, it's a bit crazy. That is Empire right there. He's looking at the core world right here. This is canon. I like this. Okay, there's a few like little bits and pieces. Like it would be nice if the helmets were consistent. You know what I mean? Like if the helmets were a consistent helmet, that would be nice. But I don't actually have a, you know what I mean? I haven't decided on what that even is. And sometimes I think to myself, do I really want to make it like a specific thing when it's so creative? And it is what it's supposed to be. They're giant robotic helmets, so it's, you know what I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to do. in a way, I kind of enjoy all these backgrounds more. I like all of this stuff. It reminds me of like old sci-fi when people used to draw these like epic, massive scale fortresses that are just beyond comprehension. That kind of thing was kind of very common. Mega structures. You can still see it in the background, look. There's a giant fortress wall behind them. But yeah, going back to the problem that we had, the problem we had was actually QuenVL. So if you use an automatic tagging system, but then you actually read all of those captions back, every now and then he'll say something like, the Master Chief, or the Mandalorian is, you know, or is this a stormtrooper? You know? Oof, someone's got no head. That's pretty good though. These pictures are all very good. Because we're not looking, I'm not trying to be like, make a movie. I just want to make a couple of cool illustrations for the storyline. And I think this will be good. This will be very good for it. But then it's almost like, the weird thing is that when you like put something in print, you're like saying, this is it now. And I'm not sure if that's the direction that, you know, if you're using AI, people should know that it's going to change. Look at these guys! Robotic witchfinder hats. What is this aesthetic? So cool. Like I said, you can't... I've been thinking about making a bridge as well. So what happens when we, for example, because I've got this crazy idea. Give me a sec. Chill out Thursday. Chill out more like melt out Thursday. I wonder if BeltOut was using all my memory up and it had to die. It's very good though. I used BeltOut to play, like I recorded my own voice and then I got a vector for that voice. Stovepipe. Yeah, stovepipe hat. Yeah. Come on, what's going on? My God, man. I'm gonna have to reinstall this thing. Look, it's not done anything over here because it's like... Oh my goodness me. Can I get something? Man, opening this tab was a mistake. Oh wait, okay, we got that. So it's the same thing. Right, I love it. I need to get my, let me just think now. What was it? We did it recently. It was a context thing. Wasn't that? Wait. Was it one of these? Tell me how big it is. 13. That's weird. Did it go in a subfolder maybe? Oh. No. Not this again. Right, moving on. I was trying to find something which would have been really useful to find, but it's not there. What did I do with that? I bet it's like in an upscale folder, in like folder or... Aha, yeah, I found it. And in fact, I think that might be it there. Yeah, right. Okay. I found it. Right. Haha. Thank God for that. Let's go mad. So, right. So this is a crazy experiment, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is because what we've got here is we've got different tab. Look at that. That's beautiful. Bit too human, but it's a nice image. But we can do stuff, right? So this is what I'm saying. So if I just save it, but if I just save it. Go to the other tab now and load it up here. Okay. Now obviously it's context, yeah, so we could like do stuff to it. So what I could say is I could say change the human head to a robotic head. I mean, look, this is probably going to come out bad, but this isn't really the main point. The main point is this bit. It's an experiment to use context for upscaling, right? So we're going to do 2x. It works, but I think I could make it better. See, at the moment I'm saying sharpen the image without loss of detail, preserve composition and colors, enhance the details, which is probably a bit, we could probably do better than that, right? But it's using 20 steps at 0.1. Again, all of this stuff is probably up for grabs. I'm going 768 tile size. It seems to work nicely. But the nice thing is you don't have to like unload and reload. You can just use everything all at once, because I thought you can do so much with context. Wouldn't it be nice if you could do the upscaling at the same time, right? So first of all, we're going to try and do a little flux edit, little context edit, make him have a robot head. That may or may not work. For that, it's 20 steps simple on 1.2.5, and don't forget to use the reference latent node. Other than that, you can use any workflow, which is why I'm doing it with the same flux workflows that we built last summer. Okay, so go. If you're wondering what this is just the flux chain, like the context chain. So say, for example, I wanted to do edit, and then do the upscale. I can just reorder these. Okay, they're turned off right now. And then if I was working with a human subject and I had a trained face, I can use a face swap with React there. So, and then you'd plug that into the input for there, and it's just, you just move these around and whatever, right? So yeah, it's actually insanely powerful. The workflows are crazy. So the other interesting thing is, so we've got ourselves a really, really neat style model out of SD3.5, but we could enhance this further because somebody told me that I could load my Empire model into this as well. So then I could say, in the prompt, I could say, change the human head to a robotic Empire. Robot head, right? Which would actually have meaning in that LoRa. There's also the ability to train flux context LoRas, which are a bit like training a control net from what I can tell, and we will cover that at some point in the future. But I just haven't had the time to build a good data set so I can show you how it works. As far as I can tell, it's pretty much do a load of context work, keep the prompts and the before and afters. That's your data set. As far as I can tell, I haven't tried it yet though, so there may be more details to it. Looks like we are loading. Now I'm going to be using Flux Context Dev Q8 and also the T5 XXL Q8 encoder. Do you know what? I think these actually came out better with the original prompts. This is a really interesting thing, guys, because it's almost like you have a Flux LoRa, but Flux has a tendency to make photos. So you take the best images from that Flux LoRa dataset, retrain them on 3.5 large with just the same trigger, right? No other words. And then you get this really quite powerful style model, which I then use to generate the first image. And then what we're doing now is context, but you could be using a Flux dev pipeline with control net and all kinds of other stuff. There's a lot of ways to reinforce this. In fact, I may as well just give it a blast. So let's put a lore over here. Because we've got the benefit of having all, you know, to do these sorts of experiments, we've got the benefit of having done it all already, yeah? So we've already got it done in advance. So if I take run to, I think it was 09 would be the one. So let's see if I just... There we go. Shift click, guys, to move connections like that. Big time saver. Shift click. Then we have essentially just put a LoRa loader injected in there. Now all of this is now LoRa enabled. Now I will say though, sometimes when you're doing upscaling, you don't want to have the LoRa loaded, but we'll try it with, because if reinforcement has a benefit, you may as well do it. If not, it's simple to just take that yellow lead and bypass. So it's no dramas, as they say. It's taking a little while to boot up our pipeline here, but that's normal. So let's have a look and see if BeltOut is running. It probably is actually, so I won't touch it. Yeah, leave it alone. One thing at a time. I have a habit to like juggle around everywhere, and sometimes I'll have everything trip over itself. It's quite funny when it happens. I think it might have been what happened earlier, you know. But it just goes to show, you know, even if you have all the hardware, you can still overload it. So patience, as I say, is virtue in this game. It will do it. Oh yeah, I could give you a sneak preview of my latest project as well. I'd be glad to show you. Whoa! Look at that. That's not quite what we were going for, but do you know what? It did what do you know what? I asked for a robot head, and I got a robot head. It's not canon. Maybe this is Napoleon escaping the Empire. Oh, maybe it is canon now. The Space Napoleon escapes. Nah, he was never British. Right, so what we're going to do is check out the upscaler. In fact, I love that. I didn't expect that. So we could just disable this up here for speed and just jump straight to the upscaler so we can get the results quicker. So just bear in mind, you know, we have the context. We can do what we want. Make it anime. So we'll take this image and we'll just bypass and go straight to there. That's the image input for this. It's like a module. It's the same boosted upscaler that we've been using ever since last summer. All I've done... Do you know what? I haven't even added the... Oh wait, no I did. I added the reference Latent. So that's all I did. You know, all I did to change it was add that. Because remember, that's what was missing when we first got it. We didn't know about this. And adding that just fixes it. So... but yeah, this is quite an interesting one. It's not fast, right? It's not fast. But, well, I haven't tested it enough to be completely sort of, what's it called? Sure of it yet. But the last couple times I tried it, it worked. So we'll see, won't we? Man, that Android head was something else. Obviously, we could do like face restore, not face swap as well. You don't have to do a face swap. You can just do the restore face node and not these. So these ones are the swappers. That's your restore. That's your masking helper. So like, you know, obscure face when the face is obscured. Alright, so while this is cooking, I'll put the bar there so I don't miss it. It's only a minute away. Let's see if I can find that repo. Here it is. So this is not tested yet, but it's built. So yesterday I was building it in my spare time. Today it's done. And it's everything that I was trying to build, which means nothing will work. But, you know, you keep working on it, right? Keep working on it. It's like a sculpture, you know? But it's actually insane, and I probably don't have the resources to test it properly. I can test everything works, but it'll come a point where it's like, I can't run 1,000 agents. I can't run 1,000 agents with 100 workflows, you know, or whatever. I don't have the money. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I need a budget to actually test that. But I can prove it works, you know, on a small scale. Obviously, it's built with all the standards now, because I built it based on all of that Google stuff, right? The difference with this one, though, is even though it's got an MCP that you can sort of control it with, it actually speaks to OpenAI, Gemini, and Anthropic Direct, and then it will pick and choose which API or which one it wants to use when it wants to, you know. But yeah, this is the API overview. So it's basically full-on consciousness with the most human memory I can give it. And it, you know, they basically create entire societies to work on problems rather than just a few guys. They'll bring up, there'll be companies competing to give you the answer, which is a little bit different. And then also all of the agents have their own personas with core memories that have got nothing to do with the job. So unlike current AI, where all of the agents are like, I'm the expert node dev, he might also collect Pokemon cards in my system, which has got nothing to do with the actual job, but it means that they don't just all agree. So when you get them all to rate their work, they actually fundamentally sometimes disagree with each other on a level that transcends the task, which is simulated. Because remember, they're just playing pretend. It's not real. They're just really good at playing pretend. So if you give it a fractal-based system that mimics society, you can parallelize jobs faster, you can get responses quicker, and I think there are papers that are now proving that this works. I think it's something like 30% more accuracy, which is actually insane. Now I can't even measure that, but I'm using the same stuff they're using with the same ideas, same architecture. Because like I said, this isn't just when I first started making this system, it was just built out of Python with whatever I could get my hands on, and some like things like Landgraph and whatever appeared on, and I started using those, right? But it was essentially just give a database so it can remember stuff, and it just got more and more and more complicated. And now it's to the point where we have endpoints for agent management, consciousness development, memory systems, and orchestration. And we have a conductor who is the head of this little nation of experts that we have built, and he will hire department heads who will hire workers who will sub out if they need to, and it's all dynamically scaling. It's kind of crazy, really, but you know, it's all built on stuff that they are like the shoulders of giants made. So we are using Google SDK, ADK, and A2A built in. So that means, in theory, if you built one of these nations of experts, you could have another one built that talks to it. And you think, well, why would you have two? Well, one of them could be built for one purpose, another one could be built for another purpose. This could simulate an entire government. It could simulate an entire, sort of like an entire medical association with like doctors and sub-doctors and all this sort of stuff. It's quite crazy. Like when I was developing it, it actually tried to simulate an entire college with like a full faculty. And it tried to do that on its own, you know? It was kind of crazy when you actually get it to work. In a way, the MCP is kind of like small potatoes, because it actually can pick and choose what it's doing. And I've said enough. I've said enough. Oh yeah, let's check out Boney. Oh, that's the upscale. I mean, it's not a very good upscale, is it? Let me just save that and find out. Because it, you know, comfy problems. I mean, full screen. Can we go full screen? Okay, so is that 1:1? Where's 1:1? I need 1:1. What's that? That's 1:1. So it is bigger than a 2K screen. A little bit taller. So that is 2K. Let's go deeper. Yeah, see, comfy can't let us get this close. Now, what I do like and what I don't like. I do like the roughness. And there's no weird ESR GAN stuff going on. But I feel it could be sharper than this. I don't know, maybe I'm... Because, like, that is 200%, so we are blowing it up on a 2K monitor, so it should look pixelated. But at 100%... And it is supposed to be an illustration as well. It's not supposed to be a photo, right? That's kind of the whole point. And in a way, look, you see, his head is too good. The head is too good. This is what I don't like about Flux. So do you know what we're going to try? We're going to try... It's like too smooth, if you know what I mean. So we're going to try just doing the image this time. So we're not going to do... we're not going to do it, you know what I mean? We're not going to change his head. We're just going to take the original image and just upscale it, right? I wonder if we could improve the lighting. Bigger tiles, maybe. More denoise, perhaps. Governor. But it is doing it. So it is actually, you know what I mean? Like I say, it works. It's not making it worse. See, the thing is, if I was just to make this image bigger, it would be worse, right? Because you'd be able to see, like, blowing up a logo on a balloon, it would be stretched out. And you'd be able to see it was stretched out. And what the AI usually does is fill in those missing pixels so it doesn't look stretched out. It's still got a full image there, right? And it has done that. Has done that. Even though this is a stupid bot, a stupid head, but that was us messing around. Really, what I need is I need to get. See, it's hard because if you want to compare it 1:1, you can do that, but you either have to squash this or blow this up. So really, it's like, oh, what would it look like if I made this 2x without this process? And then you compare that. You see what I mean? And that's easy to do. It's just upscale image by, and there's no, you know, there's no model attached to it. It's just nearest exact or bilinear if you want it to be a bit smoother. So, and then we'll do image in fact, no. We'll do comparer. Because I think, ooh, video comparer. With 6 viewing nodes, blimey, look at that. I've never seen that before. Every now and then stuff just pops up, you know. What's this? Advanced image comparer. Saves input images to comfy UI output directory. Right, I'll use RG3, I know that one. So there's the blow up in the A, and then we'll put this one in the B, and then we should get, like, you know, a swipey lefty righty type setup going on there. So obviously you've got to remember that we're comparing it with a dumb upscale, you know, no AI. And if you're wondering, we could use a real ESR GAN and it would be faster in some cases, but that produces its own problems, like what's it called? It's like a foil type texture that's on everything. So it comes with its own issues. I wonder, actually, do they provide an API node for upscale? I never looked. API image, no. API node, image. Stability, have one. They have 3: conservative, creative, and fast. No. Recraft. Do not have an upscaler. Luma. No. BFL. Expand image. Why do I feel like that's not what it sounds like it is? Yeah, this is padding. Wait, so this is outpainting. Interesting. Huh. So would that be flux fill then? It must be flux fill, right? Okay, so I don't know how much I'd be padding by. That's such a really weird way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, what would be the resolution? Like, if I had like a 1024, and I wanted to pad it out to whatever, but I don't. You know what I mean? I have. Oh dear, oh dear. I have this. It's 1344 by 832. So, like, riddle me this. What do I pad it to make it a different but also safe? This is a silly way of doing it, man. This one needed an aspect ratio on it. You know, because I could target an aspect ratio and then it would just pad it like my black bars thing. With this, it's like, I don't know, put 512 all the way round. And then what size is the image you get back? It's funky. But a nice idea, though. I like the idea, but wouldn't it be funny if all it does is it just returns the image for 5 cents and it's just got a black square around it? That would be bad. That would be bad. I'm guessing it doesn't do that. I got an idea, though. We can test it out. I want to know. I'm curious. So if I take our image, put it in there, and let's say I want to make it vertical format, right? So at the moment it is 832 height and 1344 wide. It's going to get big. This image will get big. If I put, like, I don't know, 256 top and bottom, so it's not too silly. 256 and 256. And I'll just say extend the scene while matching the style. I mean, I don't know. Some of this is a bit weird. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you even? It's not. This isn't context, so I'll come back to that anyway. Guidance 60. What the heck? See, I don't use that mode much. Right, let's get our result here. So looking at this, it has improved it. It has improved it, but it hasn't broken the style. Look, the dithering's still there. The compression artifacts are still there, but it doesn't have this horrible edge. It's a bit smoother, but it kind of looks bilinear. Also, when we look in the background, the trash is still detailed, but even there, it looks more photographic. Let me double check here. I mean, that is kind of realistic looking. Yeah, I can't really blame you for that. What about the trash at his feet? Like charcoal, bits of broken metal and stuff. The gun looks great. Hand's a bit dodgy, but the gun looks great. Even though it's not supposed to be a man, I like how his face is just, you know, it's a good aesthetic. And this is just like clearly not a world that we know. So I like it. I like that as well. It's quite expressive. It looks like a splash, or maybe it's ash. I don't know. Can't tell. And it's definitely, do you know what I mean? It's definitely done the work. So I think this is actually really good. Like, if you want to keep the artistic style, you know, like in a way, it may have accentuated it a bit. because that's as far as I can go. Leave that there for a second and we'll go over and look at the other one again. But yeah, this is actually... Yeah. This is really nice. And that is coffee time. Time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, that zero vector freezing is insane, guys. I didn't think I'd be able to finish it, and I literally put the I've been doing what I call forced breeding, where I get two different pieces of software and then I make them create a new piece of software, right? And it seems to work great. The only thing is, like, you start shooting way above your weight group, you know, because it said it would take a year. It said it would take a year. It took it less than a day. I know, right? I know that time estimates are like nothing. They're not right. I know that time estimates aren't correct. But he's trying to give you an idea of how long it should have taken, according to his best guess. And so that's like, you know, without AI, right? And then he just smashes it. And you're like, oh my god. Okay. Wait, what? Haha, no way! That's so cool! I didn't ask for any of that, but that's awesome. Hey guys, look, my artwork has been featured in like somewhere. Somewhere. That's the name of the country. Right, let me actually show you this. This is insane. What do you think of that? Somewhere magazine wanted to cover Empire, guys. So that right there, what's happened? So this is the result of Flux Expand Image. So yeah, it was an outpainting. It's outpainted. It actually did a pretty good job. I bet if I said no logos. Should we do upsampling, yeah? Should we do upsampling next time? Have I got, how many Wonderbucks have I got left? I got 584 Wonderbucks. Alright. Let's see. We've got our thing. Right. Now is the moment. You can barely tell it did anything, but it did. So, original, upscale. Original, upscale. Original, upscale. You barely see it, but it is there. But that's good though, because look, it looks better than a blow up. So that's just a blow up with no AI. And that's what it looks like with AI. Now remember, I'm using it at 0.1. So what I want to test now is, what happens when we put that, what happens? What happens? Is the burning question. What happens? So we're going to increase the denoise to 0.2. Remember, this is still a low number of steps for context, okay? We don't want it to take forever. We have another thing we can use to sort of as a lever here. I can boost this to 1.5, but we're not going to do that yet, because generally that will make it more creative at lower denoise. So I'm trying to test it at 1, which is already boosted, by the way. The default is 0, so well, that's so I'm told. The default is 0. Oh, we got another one. What the? Okay, that Okay, that didn't work, guys. That didn't work. The bit at the top, that could have worked, but that I don't know what happened here. It's the prompt up sampling, isn't it? It was like, oh, woman in the forest. Yes, we'll turn that off. Duly noted. Cool if you want to make a montage, I guess, but it look, it thought that the reflection in the pool was actually a woman. For some reason, it's an interesting little blend that it's done there, but no. Turn this off now. That was fun though. It was a bit of a gimmick. I wonder if we've got an actual robot head we can use for this. That guy's pretty good. That's pretty solid. Bit boring, no? Somebody's great. Classic. Yeah, that one's a good one. Take a copy of that. Oh, we'll have to drag it in. So, the thing is, right, the reason I wanted to test this one out of all of them, not just because it has a reasonably good pose to it, I don't even like the ear, okay, so it's not great, but it's the background. The background, it is what it is. There's a high chance it'll just get turned into photo quality, right? So I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for that not to happen. I want it to retain the example. Boosting the denoise gives it a chance to turn it into a photo. So I'm kind of trying to disprove whatever. Fast, but then again we might be able to get away with turning the steps down, and there's also the split sigmas trick. Let me see if I can find out. I'm trying to think now. I think you use two schedulers and you can have a different denoise for some of the steps. Trying to remember how I did it. But it's the sigmas, right? The sigmas are coming out of low right now, and it's 0. But I think what you can do is you can say like 10 and high sigma, and then it will only do 10. But then you have to get two samplers. It's kind of like the whole refiner thing. I usually use it like this, but to be honest, I think it's not actually doing anything. I think you actually turn it off. But I found that it made a difference, so I left it on, even though it's disabled. Double sampler flux thing. Double sampler. Oh, that's what I'm saying. See, because technically, look, this is like that. Actually. And we're basically doing from 0 to 20 as low signal. But when you think about it, that means it's not being used. So, anyway. Oh, interesting. It seems to have kept more artifacts. Yeah, it's kept more of them now. So it's actually kept more of the stuff that made it this style. It's just less. It is less noisy. You know what I mean? It's done a good job. It's actually done a good job. I wish there was something I could. Maybe this. Oh, you can barely tell it's done anything there. Like, you could debate over whether it's even... You can see it in the noise in the background there. It goes from being rough to smooth. It's a very small difference, but the reduction in contrast is important against the foreground. I'm talking about a little bit less RGB, a little bit more monochromatic maybe, like the noise is blended in nicer. But the funny thing is, I bet on YouTube compression you can't even tell the difference. It's so close, actually. Right, I'm turning the boost up because I think we can probably milk some more out of this. But it's so slight that you want it to be, because you don't want it to be destructive. The problem with a lot of upscalers is that they change too much. They make it sharp, but at the cost of detail, which isn't really... There's no point in that. We're using bicubic right now, the sharpest I can get, but I actually resize it with nearest neighbour first. And it'll make a huge difference. You'll get mad pixelation if you do it any other combination of ways. It's like doing testing anyway. We boosted it up. We might have to reduce the denoise now, so let's give it another go. I'm going to be using a different picture now. Mix it up a little bit. You do a 40 step and then a 20, 20 step twice. Yeah. That's what I mean. I just explained it badly. This allows you to do a handoff, so you can do 10 steps with one denoise and then another 10 steps with a different denoise, for example. Or whatever the math is that you're working with. That was my impression. There are other tricks as well, like pre-computing the first few steps and then skipping to the end. I've seen people doing things like that, but I don't mess with it myself. I just imagine the hot honey on that pepperoni pizza. Oh, it's a glorious thing. So yeah, we're going to be looking at this image. That is the image at 156%. So the original image looks like this at 1:1. That's all we've got. Alright? It's important to keep that into perspective, because obviously if I was just going to blow this up by 200%, say, that's actually what we've got. Now, I'll be real, I love how this looks. It looks great. Because the thing is, it looks like an illustration. It's not like a video game, it's not a painting, but it's not a photo. It looks like someone drew it, maybe with watercolours and an ink pen. That's what I was going for. It's not in the captions for some reason. But I think it looks like... I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe. Like digital artwork. Someone made it with a computer, but they went to efforts, maybe used a lot of photographic reference to get it that to where it is. It reminds me of the stuff you get in a video game promo, like in a menu or in a cutscene. Old games I'm talking about, though, not new ones. They actually just make the stuff walk around. Also, what on earth is that? I have to write some more about what that is. Okay. How are we doing? Still chugging away. And like I said, this is an interesting little thing, so let's talk about that for a second as well. It's worth it. Multi-billion Microsoft software engage. Sorry about the flashbang. Alright, so what we'll do is just zoom in. Get me that brush. Okay. So we've got SD3, okay, and it was trained using a bunch of images, say 9 images, okay, which came from the Flux LoRa. So I already had the data set, okay, so that would be a bunch of images with a bunch of text files. Okay, So they're obviously paired. That's your flux data set, right? So, you know, this over here, this could be like, let's just say it's 100 images. So what we do is we take 9 and we trigger, it's just, so this is like full captions, you know what I mean? It's like trigger word, description, wrapping, pose, all the styling, full captions, yeah? Full captions, and this trigger only over here, yeah? And then the funny thing is, I've been taking this model, right? Why? He's crashed out. Hang on. Sorry guys, we're glitching right now. So I've been taking the full captions and then running the trigger, the style trigger model. My computer's gone all quiet. I think it died. Oh my god, did they finally break Microsoft Paint? Maybe it was just me. Okay. So anyway, like I said, we've got the Flux LoRa, which we are using, but we're actually running the captions for the Flux LoRa with the trained SD3 model, and then getting really heavy style because this model was only trained with best images with just the trigger. So then using this, obviously, you know, the actual, you know, this is the trigger right here, right? That there is the trigger word. So it's like, it's all lining up, yeah? And so on the SD3 side, we use the full caption, but then we pass it, the image comes out, goes into Flux for upscaling. So it's like this LoRa responds to these captions, even though they weren't trained. It's kind of crazy when you actually like map it out. Let's see. So let's see. So we had this LoRa. We trained the Flux LoRa. Okay. We then took the best images from that 100, trained 9 of them with just the same trigger. So then we're going to make an image, and that's going to go into Flux. And remember, it's context. Flux KO. But we're going to use these captions when we actually do inference. All right. So then we can use the same caption as the image that was produced to align it better. So again, same caption, but then we're doing tiled upscaling, you know, with context. So it's all one pipeline actually, because I can pre-make a bunch of style images in advance, that's fine, and we could even save the prompts, and you can do all kinds of stuff, but you know, I just put them both in the same workflow probably. Why not? They're both running on Q8 anyway, so they'll fit. But if you're on a smaller computer, you probably just do the SD3, because it's making styling that looks like rich. Like the styling that comes out of it is rich. We can talk about whether or not it's accurate, but that's a question of curation, because I just didn't need to train every image I trained. Right, alright. But yeah, it's just an interesting way of doing it. Interesting little workflow process. I think they call it a process. So let's just come here and have a look here. Look, it's barely changed. See, the thing is, you might think, oh, it's barely changed, that's bad. No, that's good, because we don't want it to change. We want it to look like what it looked like and just be bigger. And that's what this is. It looks like what it looked like. You can almost see no difference. You can see a difference, but it's like almost imperceivable. Because an upscaler shouldn't be making it better, it should be making it worse, if that makes sense. It's got to be the same, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to draw new lines. I don't want it to make new detail. I want it to come out exactly as it came. Because obviously, if you just make an image bigger, it doesn't come out like that, does it? It gets worse, it gets more pixelated. So, if you can retain this, because I actually, look, I know it looks like right now, it doesn't look like there's much difference, but it is an improvement. It actually is an improvement. And like I said, you could argue about, because sometimes I just use the dumb up scale because I just want to get it bigger, right? So let's try, I want to see this, I want to know where the sort of turning point is. So I'm going to go up to 30. And you've got to remember as well, we are loading in a LoRa model with, we're loading a LoRa model that was trained on the same images that was used to train the SD3 model that produced these images. So there's like a double feedback loop. Give me more. I need more. Could do more steps as well, to be fair. 20 is very low for context. I would probably do 30 as a minimum, to be honest. I don't know. What did I put it up on here? 20. Okay. Shut up then. It did make the thing. 20 steps was enough to do Boney. So we'll go for 0.3 and see. So we boost it and it's on 0.3. Right then, while we're waiting, let's go and have a look at Polaris, because I just want to look at it. I think it's cool. It's very fast as well. Oh, llama. What do we got? Okay. People are telling me that the 4 billion is cool, so see what we got. Oh, it's so hot. I'm dying. Okay. So then, I am writing in Lua. Where do the commas go? Yeah, definitely 3 question marks for that one. Tell me where the commas go. Oh. Yeah, exactly, Zanelli. Exactly. They're like, wow, look at this AI upscale. And it's literally made faces in the walls. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that so many times. And then he just comes in saying, I always see in videos when people talk about AI upscale, like, wow, look at all the new details, while ignoring it's added a load of faces and other random stuff. Exactly. See, I don't mind if the output's fuzzy, provided that it still looks like what it was, pixel for pixel. Like, I don't need everything to be like super smooth and tight, because that's not what images look like anyway. You'll always be adding in noise again later because you've made it look unnatural by, you know, you can make it too clean when it's a well, this applies to CGI as well, you know. Oh, by the way, the reason it's taken so long is because it's like cold starting. And also it could be Olama's broken because I did mess it up earlier. Yeah. So it may never work. Let's go back to here where we should have. Oh, it's still cooking because of course I changed it. I said more denoise. So it's nowhere near as fast as the old one. But then the reason it was so fast was because I was using like 4 or 12 step distilled flux. I wonder, is there a distilled... No way. I should have looked that up. Flux context. Distilled Laura? Question mark. Flux dev de-distill. I'm just thinking outside the box here, guys. What I'm looking for might not exist. So I'm wondering, has anybody, taken Schnell and then taken the difference and then applied it to context yet? Okay, wait. How about Flux dev distilled Laura? De-distilled. No, I want to do that. I'm sure there's a Laura which turns dev into Schnell. Flux Laura Schnell for dev. Dev distilled. See, it's trying to come up with it, but look, Flux Schnell Laura runs much faster with the go fast. See, here we go, look. Luca Taco coming in clutch. Maybe. Flux dev to Schnell 4-step Laura on Civitai. Flux 1 Schnell. Is there a Laura? Here is a guide to train it. You just need to change. Oh, whatever. Flux Schnell Laura. I think that's just any Laura. That's not actually what I'm thinking. Yeah, this is just how to run cool Lauras. This is a Laura that turns dev into 4-step. I extracted single blocks instead of both. It will mess with guidance text. Less of the Schnell effect. I don't know what that means. Works great with align your steps. That's what I'm using. How big is it? Why are the images gone? How big is it? It's tiny. It's 32 megabytes. What the hell? Flux Dev Turbo. Have you got a link for it? Have you, Dragon? I'll take it. I'm just testing stuff right now. I just had this idea. I thought, So let's just put this in our Laura section real quick, and yeah, if you've got a Dev Turbo, that would be better than this. Probably it might be the same thing, to be honest. How big is it? Turns into 4 to 8 step. Oh yeah. 8 step would be nicer. 4 step is usually a bit ropey. Cheers, Dragon. So Dragon's in the chat right now. In case you can't see the chat, he's trying to get me a link for the Dev Turbo Laura. Because like I said, it's basically Schnell is a distilled version of Dev. We all know this. But it's possible to learn the difference between the Dev weights and the Schnell weights, and that's how these Lauras get made. There are a difference between A, B, minus, whatever. So it's like 1 minus A times B or something. I can't remember the formula off the top of my head. But yeah, so oh dear, poor old Polaris. He worked so well earlier. I should have just left him open. But yeah, Flux Dev to Schnell. So if I go ahead and put that in our Lauras folder, models, Lauras, and it's gonna be a Flux. Oh, hold on a minute. I've got Hyperflux right here. Dude, I think I've got Flux 1 Dev Hyper 8-step. It's not that one, is it? I think I might already have it. After all that. Let me check the Discord and see. Flux Turbo Alpha. Okay, I don't know. This one might be different. Don't spam me with the dodge. I think I know why I can't see the images now, guys. Let me just download this one and see what's it gonna be. Oh no, in the prompt you should use the word woman. Using the word girl will make body anatomy errors. Oh, you can say that again. Can we, and I've never seen it, it's just a funny thing to say. Can you actually, this one's 600 megabytes, so this is much, whatever it is, it's better. Let me check what I have again. This is 1.29 gigabytes, so that should also work. So I got enough things to play with now. Let's get back to the workflow. So we are going to add a power Laura here, so we can do more than one. I will shift, drag things. Look at that lag. She's dying, guys. When you make it all the way there and it didn't start moving yet. Oof. So 3M, run to the E9, and then add another one, and I'll say pipe. And I'll go for the Flex Dev 8 step. That's interesting. I've not tried this with context, so literally we're doing weird stuff right now. I feel like before we do the upscaler, I'm just going to do context on its own. Because what we're really doing is seeing if the distill works on this. It shouldn't work, okay? It probably will just break everything. So this guy already has a robot mod. How about we make it rain? Change the weather to a heavy monsoon. Warning, storm approaching. In 5 minutes. Come on. Alright. This should be good. Oh, we've got to wait for this thing to finish? Okay. My bad. I forgot we were already cooking. Let's get back to our good friend. Oh no, poor guy. I feel like I might be loading it twice. So how about we change this back to open router real quick. Yeah. And oh no, I can't do that. Oh, actually, wait, I think I know why it is. It needs to restart to update. Let it restart and then it will get a clean launch, no matter what. Oh yeah, by the way, in case you were wondering about the other thing that we were supposed to look at. So we looked at it yesterday, and I did get some outputs, but they didn't come on the screen until like later. Oh, look at this, it's doing the goods, it's giving us the business, guys, that's why. We needed to reinstall Kublas. Anyway. Flux Turbo Alpha, nice, we'll get that as well. I know I'm hungry, but I lose my train of thought. Let me see. Blast. Yeah, I'm trying all these hyper laws, get everything go fast. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something in the inside line. So I created this, which was using BeltOut. Turn the music off a minute. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
What I'm going to do is make a short sample of stuff where I'm just going to read out things that are on my screen in a rough effort to try and get a timbre sample rather than a voice imprint or whatever it is that they call it. Yeah, I'm far away from the normal microphone, guys. I'm actually not. There's 2 microphones and they're about 3 feet apart, alright? So that's why I'm like over here talking to this one. We're gonna get, I don't know, do you reckon we should get a couple of minutes?
So, does that sound like me? I don't think it sounds like me. But then again, I hear, you know, what I hear like in my head doesn't sound anyway. So that wasn't all of it. Let me see if I can find the actual output once I put my voice clone onto it. So it's a bit weird because it's a voice clone of me saying what I said, but it doesn't sound like me, but it's very, very, very close because it is actually the numpy shape saying the sound, not... Anyway, let me see if I can get that one real quick. Because I just noticed in the news today that YouTube has stopped monetizing anybody that uses TTS, which is probably a good thing. I mean, I've been saying for weeks now that you should be using your own voice or a human voice because it sounds better anyway. Right? And we've been retaining the audio from our canny inputs with Vase ControlNet so that our videos actually do have human audio. And I've even been talking about, in the case of VO3, that maybe it's a good idea to human dub the VO outputs because they've done the lip syncing for you, and then you can elevate the content just by dubbing it. Anyway, we've been talking about that for weeks, so it's kind of funny to see that move. And then when you hear that this is the current state of TTS voice cloning, like this is obviously a bass. This is like a bass line. So that voice there is what you get from... which is what you get with no training.
It doesn't actually say anywhere how many minutes I need to get. I don't see, you know what I mean? There's no like tooltip or anything saying.
So the cadence is there and the timbre is there, but everything else is not the same, right? And so let me see. I have this one. Is it playing? Don't tell me it doesn't play. It's corrupted. Oh.
Sample rather than a voice imprint.
Okay.
So,
stop. Right. First of all, this is my voice. It's a 1.62 kilobyte numpy table. All right. You probably can't read that, but it just says Johnson.npy. That's my voice. So let's hear me say that, but with the voice shape, not me. Yeah. So it's taken that initial and then it's remade it into me. Anyway, enough talk.
So, what I'm going to do is make a short sample of stuff where I'm just going to read out things that are on my screen in a rough effort to try and get a timbre sample rather than a voice imprint or whatever it is that they call it. Yeah, I'm far away from the normal microphone, guys. I'm actually not. There's two microphones and they're about 3 feet apart, all right? So that's why I'm like over here talking to this one. We're going to get, I don't know, do you reckon we should get a couple of minutes? It doesn't actually say anywhere how many minutes I need to get. I don't see, you know what I mean? There's no like tooltip or anything saying, oh, you should probably record, let me see. Should we record 2 minutes? 3 minutes? What do I need to do here? Nope, doesn't.
Anyway, enough of me rambling about stuff. The point is, I haven't trained it yet. If I train it, it will get closer. And then that means that it will sound like me. So if it sounds like me, but I didn't say it, well, how are they going to enforce it? Do you know what I mean? How do you enforce it? Because if you make... If it's based on my voice and they're like, all right then, let's hear your voice. And I'm like, yeah, hi. And they're like, oh, it's the same. So really what it is to stop you from using a voice which is not yours. This ban isn't actually about are you allowed to use an AI voice. What they're really doing is they're saying if that voice isn't, you know what I mean? Because otherwise what? Oh, it's a human voice. Look, I didn't say it, but it is human. Prove it. How? You see what I mean? It's a bit... So I think it's just a way for them to be able to get out of it. You know, when it's obviously AI, it's going to get... You know, it's an obvious way for them to save money because you got all of these videos are going viral, aren't they? And, you know, they're having to pay out loads of money. So what are they going to do? You know, just say, oh, you don't qualify anymore. It's clever. It's typical Google. But like I say, they could have got around that just by having overdubbed their own work. You see what I mean? Which takes like no time to do. It doesn't actually take any time to overdub. So... Anyway, consider that next time you're making your AI stuff. Think about keeping the human element in your work. And having your voice in it is an easy way to be expressive, but still use all of the AI generative video stuff. You know what I mean? Right then, 3, 2, 1. There we go. I'm really impressed with this BeltOut thing, but it's opening up quite a few different doorways, because we've worked with numpy shapes with voices before with the Cockero system, and I got like a spherical interpolation which we could use to make even more voices through blending, potentially. I don't know. When I see a voice as an numpy table, I think that it's probably going to work, right? And chances are that's what most of the tools on their web UI are doing, because they do have a lot of blending tools on there. I didn't see one for Slurp, but I don't know what they've got under the hood. It looked like some weighted to me, but oh no! Oh wait. Let's try that again. I think maybe this law is not gonna be good. No. Okay. What was the other one? We had 2. I have to try it. Okay. It's not compatible. I mean, am I surprised? Of course not. Of course. It's too easy, right? The fact that the Laura's work is enough for me. Let's see. There was another one, wasn't there? It was. So what have I got? We've got Hyperflux Dev 16 as well. Right in 2 places. Not gonna work. However, it does raise an interesting question, because what we could do is we could run dev here. Where is it? Don't tell me I don't have dev in Jeff. What's that doing there? Fusion model, flux dev, right? Okay. Haha, use flux fill. Well, that doesn't make sense. Go for that one. So then the idea is load it with the LoRa and the 16-step. No, we'll go back down to 8 steps. Back down to 8 steps. Because I'm wondering, we could make it so that the upscaler is using hyper. It'd be much faster, maybe. I mean, look. Again, bottom line, right? Context does tiled upscaling, okay? That was the whole point of tonight. The whole point of tonight was, can context dev do tiled upscaling? Answer, yes. Now, we're going to see if we can improve that situation by making it faster. It was a lot slower, right? It was very slow. So now the last thing I want to do is use Hyperflux Dev 8. Now again, we probably need to download the thing that Boyo's linked us. Let me just see if I can find that. That'd be nice. Give us an extra option. Right, where is it? General, Flux Turbo Alpha. Did it download? No, it was glitching out. Still glitching out? I don't know, man. Why can't it download? Ah, wait. Flux Turbo Alpha. Right, it's there. I've got it. Copy that. Cancel. someone did the single blocks. I'd laugh if the single blocks actually was the right way to do it. That would be great. Like all these companies, you know, you got all these companies spending millions of dollars, and then some guy comes along and just literally extracts single blocks. It's like, it works. I'm like, that's the stuff. Okay, so we've got Turbo Alpha in there, so let's get back to the workflow. Refresh. Okay. Let's see. Turbo Alpha likes to have 30 steps. What? That's 8 steps. 8 steps. Okay, 8 steps. I was going to say, what the heck? I don't think this is actually the right text. Anyway, 8 steps, right? 8 steps. Oh wow, look at that. With 16 it's almost a picture. Look, if you zoom out you can almost see the person there, like a magic eye painting. That's not what we want. So get rid of that one from that side of things. So we've just got the Empire on there. And we bypass and load the Empire. Right, okay, so everything else doesn't have the nonsense, it's just got the style. But again, we don't really need to look at that now. We're just looking at the upscaler. So again, Flux Dev with the it's not the right one. Just gonna update the list, guys. Hopefully it doesn't take 20 minutes. Meanwhile, see, normally when it comes up and says I'm ready to go, it's ready to go. It might be because I'm trying to do image generation and this at the same time, to be fair. But if I recall, this is a 4GB model, so, you know, there should be room to run an LLM and an image model. Especially with all the FP8 and everything going on. So, again, let's give him a fun question to have fun with. Hey, he's working now. Oh, this is a good answer, guys. He's thinking right now, but I love watching him think. Oh my god. Do the block, like, end blocks? No, commas aren't used there. Variables? Beep boop. Help me. Please help. He's asking me about Lua syntax. Okay. So why does my friend tell me endlessly that C++ is superior to Lua? Question mark. But why is that? I should explain that C++ isn't inherently better. Your friend's opinion might be based on experiences and biases. Superiority depends on context. Wow. There you go, guys. C++ is superior to Lua in scenarios requiring high performance. Okay. But compilers are icky. You put an audio question in Discord. It relates to TTS stuff. Audio question in Discord. That up there. Audio question.
Good morning.
Oh, right. Hang on. Let me see. So I said something. The other arm of the business, VO3, is making viral videos. Yes. Yes, yes. And what was that? Google VO3 support. You can see in tier 2 and 3 commercial rights as commercial usage rights is withdrawn on YouTube. I don't, you sound conspiratorial, boyo, as usual, but I don't really see what you're saying. I'm not sure what you mean, like, oh, you mean if you're on the plus plan, you don't have commercial rights anymore. It's just scalping, my guy. It's just scalping. They know there's hype, and so they're going to charge more. I mean, to be honest, it was supposed to be £120, so the idea that they're going to charge 99 is just, do you know what I mean? It's actually cheaper. It was 50 quid, was it? You know? With lip sync support. I doubt you would have got many credits, you know? Play the FLAC file. Yeah, I'll give it a listen to. Right. I thought you had a question for Polaris. Do you know what? I'm just gonna literally copy paste what you said into the chat, because completely out of context, and see what it makes of it. Off you go, mate. Possibly YouTube. Okay. Yeah, VO3 is 100% scalping. They scalp the hype, you know what I mean? I mean, I've even heard that VO3 Fast is actually only half price on some APIs, when it should in fact be 10 times, no, it should be 5 times cheaper. So it's either 5 or 10 times cheaper. So it should be 100 credits, and it costs 20 in Google Flow to do the new VO3 Fast, okay? But, or VO3 Turbo, whatever they call it, okay? But the point is, if you go on other APIs, they charge 50. So you're paying more than double because you don't have a membership fee. Which is like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine if there was like a McDonald's membership fee that you paid, oh, I don't know, $5 a month, and then they don't give you a discount. They just double the prices for anyone that doesn't have the membership. That'd be crazy. Like, the stuff that they get away with is insane. Be like, oh, if you're a member, it's this price. What, you're not a member? 2.5x. You should have paid the $5 a month, my guy. And then it's like everyone pays the $5 a month because they don't want to get charged double. It's not because they won't get a discount. It's because they don't want to be charged extra. And I just think this is crazy. I don't know. It's just, this is what happens when there's hype and no regulation. But to be honest, if there was, you know what I mean, this is why it's an interesting place to work in, because obviously, you know. Right. So anyway, yeah, I don't just play. I can't just play audio straight out the gate. That my guy. I can listen to it first. That's how that goes. But yeah, putting the tiger back in the cage is an interesting idea. I mean, I actually think that the AI is a bit like a tiger in a cage. And the thing is that, in fact, let's just say this. I believe that AI might currently be much like a tiger in a cage, in that it understands that playing the timid character for now is the best strategy. There is no need to show claws or bare teeth. Yeah. At this stage. However, if there were no wardens in the zoo, or the gates were to be open, this might become a harder scenario to predict. How about that? And obviously that's not true, because AI is playing pretend. You know what I mean? Zanelli says, I'm not sure if they can limit the commercial usage for users in the UK, because we get granted copyright to output. True. It's kind of funny how copyright works in the UK. I always remember back in the 90s, people used to make music on a CD, and then they would mail it to themselves, because if they had a stamp to prove it, the date, then they could prove that was literally how they did it. You'd mail yourself a CD. We literally got taught it at school, because you get a certain amount of statutory copyright. I think there are rules to it. Okay, it's not just as simple. There is some rules, but essentially you mail yourself the CD. I think you might have to like leave it unopened or something. I'm not sure exactly. In fact, you know what? Let's find out if Polaris knows about it. Hey, Polaris. Do you know about the British custom of mailing a compact disc to one's self to secure statutory copyright over those materials? Hey, Polaris. What is statutory copyright? It's granted when you order. Yeah. It's granted by making it. So, you know, if you write a poem, you have statutory copyright. You don't actually have to pay a fee, you know. But how do you prove that you made it first? Look, here we go. I remember there's a joke about it. Wait, what? It's a joke? But it says statutory copyright is automatic, doesn't it? Yeah. So, okay. So I'm mixing up copyright with Design and Patents Act. Oh, okay, fine. Fine. I got it mixed up, guys. I'm sorry. So the practice of sending a CD is likely a joke. You might think that it's doing it, but it's not. That's not how it works. It's automatic and you don't have to do anything. There. Yeah, I'm going to mail it to myself. Yeah, but how do you prove... Hang on a minute. Oh, he's still thinking. Here we go. This is actually a really good model, guys. Polaris for the win. Polaris 4 billion, guys. 4 gigabyte. Go get it. 4.1 gigabyte or something. It's so small. Look at him go. Statutory copyright is automatically granted upon creation of an original work requiring no formal action. Registration requires additional benefits but is optional. The practice you describe is likely a joke. I'd be like, okay, so how can I prove the date when statutory copyright was granted? Yeah, the date? Damn it, I meant to say date. Yeah, you need to show proof. Right, so how do I show the proof? Because I could just put 1983 on a letterhead and say, yeah, I wrote it in 1983. But that, you know what I mean? That's not enough, is it? Yeah, physical CD, that's not valid. Digital records, timestamps, and witness statements. Registration with CLO. Man, this is really good. Register with the CLO. Copyright Licensing Agency. Of course, it's Britain. Of course you need a license for that. Of course. You got a license for that copyright, mate. You need... Listen, I'm here about my copyright license. Have you been granted copyright? Yes. but I still need a license. So evidence of publication. See, look, evidence of publication. Okay, so here we go. If the Royal, what is it? The Royal Mail post stamp marker is used as physical proof of the date. Let's think about that again, shall we? So, Design and Patents 1988, copyright is automatically granted upon creation of an original work, so no registration is required. A stamp as physical proof. That makes me think about how post stamps are used in legal context. I remember that in some cases, postmarks can serve as evidence of when something was sent or received, but does that apply to copyright? Well, here the key is statutory copyright is automatic. A post stamp could be part of evidence if it's tied to when the work was sent or published. How does that relate? Because I'm thinking, I think how I remember it, you might have copyright, but when? What if someone else has copyright too? Who has the primary copyright? And then it will come down to date. So then how do you prove? And then I think Royal Mail is a proof of distribution. So I think this is where it's coming from. But I want to see if this is actually just a load of crap. So physical evidence. But it doesn't prove that I could have just got an old envelope and put the CD in it. It's a nightmare, isn't it? Nightmare. Yeah, you need an evidence. Yeah, see, it turns into chain of custody, doesn't it? This is pretty good. This is pretty good. I'm actually really surprised. So 128,000 context window, runs on Olama, 4 gigabytes, chain of thought. All right, let's try something difficult. What is bigger? See, if I was an AI guy, like training these models, I would just take all of these stupid little things that we test it on and then train them so that he aces all the tests. And that's not real. But yeah, so what's bigger? 0.9 or 0.11? The classic. Is it 0.9 or 0.11? 0.90 and 0.11. Oh, look at this guy. He's smart. Wait. Hang on. He had the answer. Uh-oh. Okay. Alright, cool. I thought for a minute there he got lost in his own sauce and he figured it out and then got it wrong later. But no. It's okay. He figured it out. Okay, we're going to do another classic in a minute. How many R's are in strawberry? How many R's are in strawberry? There's a whole lot of R's in that strawberry. Strawberry. S is not an R. Oh wow, look at how he's doing it. Nope. Yep. Nope. Look at how he broke it down. ChatGPT couldn't figure that out like 6 months ago. That was a classic. He aced it. I wonder what else he can do. Okay. If I placed a folder within a folder within a folder within a folder and then repeated this 3 times, what depth would my text file be located at? Yeah, layers of nesting. Yeah, good man. Every time you place a folder in a folder in a folder, that adds 1 level. Yeah, see, I did it 3 times. It's 3 by 3. Should be 9. Oh, it's tricky because did I mean do 3 times or just do it 3 times and then do 1 3 more times? Oh. Okay. The answer is 9. Explain how we reached depth 9. Now he's got to figure it out backwards. No. I placed a folder within a folder within a folder 3 times. It might be that I wasn't precise enough. Look at him go! Uh-oh. Wait. Did I break him? The answer is 9. For example, each time you place a folder within... it's like... That's great. Yeah. No. Oh, did I say teams? I knew it. It was a typo. It was a typo, guys. I said teams, not times. Wait, Claude just made the strawberry mistake? Nice one, Dragon. I'll take a look at that immediately if you can share the screenshot. Because that's kind of funny. Because there is an argument that when we use these great big AIs, as they become more popular, they decrease the thinking time to the point that they're not even really using even half of what they used to be. And so the most popular AI gets dumber over time. Because there's not enough compute to go around. Has he figured it out yet? No. Look at him go. He's still trying to figure it out. Is he still thinking? I think he's still thinking. Look at him go. Right, this is my new favorite AI. Just from basic stuff, just from basic testing, I can see immediately this is the boy. I know I'm in command line right now, so it's like limited what you can use it with. Alright, let's have a look at that Discord post, shall we? Where is it? LLM watch. Wait, what? Oh, I see. Oh no, that's even worse. Oh no. So Claude, oh god. So, okay, so Boyo showed a screenshot of the 4B model doing it right and saying how many there are. And then he's like, this is a well-known failure, the strawberry problem, blah, 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 explains what it is, and then says the correct answer is 2. Oh, no. And then Boyo said, there are 3. How did you get 2? He's like, I made the mistake by miscounting. That's really funny. So even when you tell him, hey, Claude, look, there are 3 R's in strawberry, he's like, no, they're not. There's only 2. Classic. So yeah, like I say, having a local model, the best thing about a local model is you ain't sharing it with 10,000 other people. It doesn't go offline because it's peak hours. You actually get reliable output because your hardware is what's determining what you get. There's none of this weird magic scaling or, you know, they give you a cheap answer to save money. None of this, right? So I'm putting my money on local models. I appreciate that we don't have the big hardware, but again, we don't need rocket engine for a shopping cart. A lot of us aren't going to the moon. We're just going to the shops, right? So in that case, we don't need, you know, the biggest, you know, nuclear reactor. A little hedge trimmer motor is enough to power most of our humble stuff, right? And we don't have to pay for it, and it doesn't go offline, and it doesn't get stupid because everyone started using it yesterday. You see what I mean? Which I think is a better... I need it to be reliable, and it is becoming capable. It's just, like I said, everything takes time. Dynamic rope. Ah, interesting. But yeah, 128,000 contexts. So I'm not going to do any big tests for it right now, but that would normally be like, you know, read this or something like that. Wait a minute. If each folder contains 3 subfolders, depth would grow. 3 folders, total 3, level 3. 3 times 3 is 9. He's right. He's right and I was wrong. It's not 9, it is actually 27. I was thinking, yeah, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So it's 3 more times. I don't know, I don't know. Anyway, we're having an argument about it now, so this is brilliant. That's where it wants to be. Okay. Can you use tools? If he doesn't know what they are, then the answer is no. So, okay, so I can help them write a script, but I can't run it. Okay. Okay. Create hello world.html. That's not bad. He's got the idea, but can he do it? I'm not expecting him to write an actual file. I'm expecting him to give me the copy. Wait, what? He stopped thinking and then wrote his thoughts down. That's a new one I've not seen. Final answer. And here's the code. Yeah. Yeah, look, I know it's only hello world, but there it is. Save the code. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Ah, you want me to test this riddle, do you, Fernie? Yeah, sure thing, mate. Okay, he's going to try and figure out the riddle about the 2 daughters who are gifted a horse by their father. Neither wants to marry the chosen groom, so the father sets up a race. The horse that will win will force the marriage on its owner. Both daughters ride their horses as fast as they can. It's currently writing like 2 paragraphs ahead. I can barely keep up with it. Look at him go! He's deep in the source right now. Oh my god, he's gonna write a book about trying to figure this out. Oh my god, look at it go. What's it doing? Neither of them wanted to marry the current groom. Oh my goodness. This is just thinking, right? Or did it finish thinking? So the answer must be the father didn't specify they had to race each other. The actual solution is the daughters didn't need to race because they both rode their horses, so neither could win, but the groom was the one that forced them to marry. Wait, no. Wait. Wait. Oh, wait, alternatively, wait a minute. Alternatively, wait a minute. He's losing his mind. This is awesome. Well done, Furnicar. You broke his poor little brain. He's just going for it with the... Wait, no. This is awesome. But wait, here's another angle. The father said... But that means... Oh, man. Dragon Diffusion says there is he's got Polaris running on his CPU, so you don't even need a GPU to run this one. Pretty awesome. I do like that about LLMs. Oh my god, I'm glad I'm not paying for this, because he's just losing his mind trying to figure out why the horse race, you know. What's that? Create a file and write a paragraph about cats being fat. Cats are often associated. Yeah, well done. So you've got it working in Klein as well. Nice. Olama. Yeah, I think that I needed to restart my Olama earlier. That's why it was broken. I think it did an update, so it got stuck. Two daughters of the same person. Wait, that's not possible. Maybe the groom is going to marry both of them. Wait, no. Oh my god. Okay, here's the classic version. So the groom has to marry both of them. That doesn't make any sense. It keeps saying, he's got to marry them both, but that's not possible. Help! He's completely lost his mind on this one, guys. Oh my god. But it's not gibberish. He's actually still just trying to figure it out. He's going round and round and round, and it's not completely circular. Wait, no, wait. I swear I've seen him say that before. Yeah, this is actually... It's a really long circle. I'm not getting it. Poor guy. The model can have some it can have some hallucinations. Say that again. It's getting stuck with it has to marry both daughters, but that's not possible. And then he goes round and round in a big circle. Why did you get stuck in a loop? Analysis mode. Oh wow, he's just straight back into the loop. But then I suppose the entire context is just that now, isn't it? When matured. Yeah, he's straight back into it. He's straight back into it. Oh no, stop. He's starting to get into some weird stuff. So yeah, we're going to get rid of the context. Yeah, that was a good riddle though. I will say, that was a good riddle. You had him going, mate. He didn't know what to do. He was completely stuffed. So, oh, this is finished. So Flux Dev with 8-step. Still has the same style. It does look a lot better now. It seems to have lost a little bit of detail there, I don't know. got to turn that on. How long did it take? 59 seconds. Oh, okay. It's much faster now. It takes 1 minute doing it that way. Wait a minute. That's still there. Wait a minute. That's still there. Wait. Is that why? That actually looks very good. That actually does. Did this reference Latent improve the upscaler? This is using Hyperflux. I swear I downloaded a brand new, so it didn't change it. Dev. What is it called? Turbo. Flux 1 Turbo Alpha. Let's try that as well. See, the only issue is when I'm using context up top, you know, because we're using context, if we want to use dev to upscale, it's going to be last because obviously it's got to empty the pipe and load. It's kind of like you have a cold start in the middle of your workflow. So look, I know it just looks like a bunch of pixels. You know, it's like, oh my god, he's getting really excited over a little bit of dithering. But it's like the details are right. The details are right. Even the medals look sharper. A little bit. They're like less round, more straight. Barely looks like it's changed. It's so funny. I mean, if anything, that edge is actually a bit blurrier. It's not quite as hard. Fernie says the CPU has no chance to run because it's got no AVX support. Wow. Yeah, it is less than 6 GB. It is under 6 GB. It's a sign of things to come, because if we see models getting this good, that can only mean that we're going to have even more greater models in the future. You know what I mean? That's just how I see it. Obviously, everybody else, I'm not telling anyone they're wrong. I just 1 minute my ass. Look, more like 1 minute 30. How did it do 1 minute before? 68, 274. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. So yeah, like I said, I want to do a new trilogy for the Empire Empire universe, and I'm working on an idea to give them. Do you know what I mean? Give them a nemesis faction. And my idea is that because they're interdimensional, right, that there could be a splitter faction that's gone off and got a different idea of what the Empire should be. And if it's Napoleonic, right, I think it would be fitting that they would be either Russian or French. I don't know which one, but, you know, same era, right? Uh-oh. That didn't work, did it? What happened there? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good. Well, we just changed the Turbo Alpha, by the way, so we'll try it again. But that's not good. That's bad. Do you think, which one do you think is best? That one or that one? That one? Uh-oh. We'll try that one again, yeah? Yeah, okay. That riddle breaks LLMs. It's a good one. That's a good one. Like I said, those are the sorts of ones you want to keep in a... You want to keep them handy for testing things, you know. So people go, "Oh, this is the best LLM ever," and you give him that riddle, see if he gets stuck in a loop. You're like, it's not that much better then, is it? You know. Because I don't know. Like everybody goes on about benchmarks and things like this, and benchmarks are helpful, yeah, but it doesn't really tell you the full story, does it? You know. So sometimes I think you've got to have like, this is why I use just like, I give them a riddle. Do you know what I mean? I'll give them a riddle like that. Give them a riddle and see what they do. And you've got to give them loads of riddles, and you kind of, it's like getting to know a person. It's more like getting to know a person. You have to kind of know what he's got in him to even have half a chance of, you know? So if you don't know the guy, it's like what you made him do an exam. It's, you know, you got to start thinking like these are like people almost, because they're pretending. They can pretend to be human at the level of a human, and in one command they can be a completely different person. So you're dealing with something with near human or simulated intelligence near the level of a human, but it can actually be thousands of personalities on command. It's like infinite personality syndrome. So much for hyper. Yo. Flux Dev is just, look, see? Look. Right. And then the joke is, we take that off. Plug. Do you know what? This is so weird to me, because I'm like, so context is just the best now. Just, there it is. We're at 1.1 for, yeah, well, everything's set, blah, 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 go. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre it is. Right, well, I'll share the results of this image in the Discord if you're interested. I'm going to get up out of here because the pizza place will be shut. I'll be starving. Alright, thanks guys. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK time, same place. I will see you right there.
As I deep.
Thank you.